What if the reigning king of Formula One isn't as loyal to Red Bull as we all thought? In a twist straight out of a racing thriller, Max Verstappen, the name synonymous with Red Bull dominance, has just been caught doing something that no one saw coming. Under a fake identity, Verstappen secretly tested a Ferrari at the Nürburgring, slipping behind the wheel of the prancing horse while hiding behind the alias Franz Hermann. This wasn't a fan stunt or some casual PR move. This was serious, calculated, and potentially game-changing. So the real question is, why is Verstappen driving a Ferrari, and why in secret? Because this wasn't just a rebellious thrill ride, it was part of a much bigger picture. No flashy entrances, no Red Bull branding, and not a single journalist in sight. Just Verstappen, incognito, quietly logging laps in a Ferrari at one of the most iconic tracks in the world. It wasn't a rumor, it wasn't speculation, it happened. And now, the paddock is left reeling, wondering what this secret test really means. The Dutchman wasn't chasing headlines, he was chasing a permit. Specifically, the Nordschleife license, mandatory for any driver dreaming of tackling the brutal 24 hours of Nürburgring. For Max, this wasn't just another box to tick. It was a calculated step toward his long-term goal, competing at the top of endurance racing. While the world speculates about team swaps and future contracts, Verstappen is quietly building something bigger, a legacy that spans far beyond the F1 paddock, one that includes conquering the most unforgiving racetracks on the planet. The Nordschleife isn't just a circuit, it's a proving ground. And Max, true to form, isn't just showing up, he's arriving with intent. Seeing Max Verstappen behind the wheel of a Ferrari, any Ferrari, is enough to raise eyebrows, especially considering his unwavering loyalty and legendary success with Red Bull Racing. But this wasn't about switching teams, or teasing some dramatic F1 plot twist. It was a different kind of surprise, one that had racing insiders doing double takes and fans wondering what on earth was going on. The machine he piloted wasn't an F1 beast, but a GT3 spec Ferrari 296, fielded by Emil Frey Racing. This car is usually driven by Thierry Vermeulen, a rising GT talent, close Verstappen ally, and the son of Max's longtime manager, Raymond Vermeulen. The dots connect quickly once you know the backstory, but on the day, the dots were deliberately scrambled. Instead of Thierry, the car was officially assigned to a mysterious entrant named Franz Hermann, a Dutch driver with no back catalogue, no interviews, and no media buzz. It was the motorsport equivalent of a ghost driver, just a name on paper and a blur on the track. With Verstappen hidden behind a helmet and tucked into a bespoke racing suit, most trackside onlookers had no idea they were watching a four-time F1 champion quietly clock laps in disguise. Of course, the disguise had its flaws. The helmet, classic Max, personalised and unmistakable. The suit, also branded with his real name. Not exactly spy-level secrecy, but even with those telltale signs, most people didn't connect the dots fast enough. It was just enough misdirection to buy him time before whispers started circling the paddock. Backing this covert cameo was a set of strict precautions. Emil Frey Racing wasn't taking any chances. They blocked off their pit box like it was Area 51. No lenses, no loitering, no questions. Security was unusually tight for what, on paper, was a routine test, but anyone paying attention could tell something, or someone, was being protected. In a place like the Nordschleife paddock, where variety is the norm and anonymity is rare, this level of cloak and dagger security was more than a little suspicious. Who was this Franz Hermann, and why was a nobody suddenly the centre of a lockdown? Turns out, when the driver in question is a four-time F1 world champion moonlighting in GT racing, a little extra caution goes a long way. Max Verstappen's secret Nürburgring cameo wasn't some spur-of-the-moment thrill ride. It was a calculated step toward a long-standing personal goal. While he may be the dominant force in Formula One, Verstappen has made no secret of his love for endurance racing, and at the very top of his motorsport bucket list, the grueling 24 hours of Nürburgring. But here's the twist. Even for someone of Max's talent, that race doesn't just open its gates to any hot shoe with a trophy cabinet. You need the official Nordschleife permit, a multi-stage license designed to filter out even experienced drivers who might underestimate the brutality of the green hell. And yes, that includes world champions. His recent low-key run in the GT3 spec Ferrari was part of this meticulous certification process. At just 27 years old, Verstappen has already squeezed nearly everything out of Formula One. Titles, records, and dominance to the point of boredom. But like all the greats, he isn't wired to sit still. New mountains call, and the Nürburgring, with its twisting, unforgiving 25-kilometer ribbon of tarmac through the Eiffel Mountains, is a beast unlike any other. The charade didn't last long. While Max Verstappen Verstappen's alias, Franz Hermann, gave him a brief cloak of anonymity, motorsport people are sharp and hard to fool. According to Auto, Motor and Sport, suspicions began bubbling the moment he hit the track. His buttery smooth driving, the calm confidence he exuded in the paddock, and the fortress-like security around the Emil Frey pit garage started setting off alarm bells. It didn't take long before the whispers turned into quiet confirmations. The jig was up. Franz Hermann didn't exist, and everyone started to realize that it was actually Verstappen under the helmet all along. And let's be honest, Max and his camp likely knew this cloak and dagger wouldn't hold up forever. But here's the thing, it was never about keeping the secret airtight. This wasn't a prank or some grand attempt to punk the motorsport world. It was a smart move to sidestep the circus that inevitably follows a name like Verstappen. He wanted to focus on the task at hand, earning the Nordschleife permit, without flashbulbs, autograph hunters, or a social media storm. To many fans, Max Verstappen's secret Nürburgring outing isn't just a quirky one-off. It feels like the first page of his next racing chapter. He's never been shy about his future. Unlike some of his rivals who plan to race well into their 40s, Max has made it clear that he doesn't see himself grinding out F1 weekends for another decade. He's chasing something different, something with more flexibility, variety, and frankly fun. And the signs are all pointing in that direction. Verstappen's recent investments speak volumes. He's bought a Ferrari 296 GT3 and an Aston Martin GT3, not just to admire in a garage, but to compete with under his own team's banner. That's not just a rich hobbyist move, it's a signal of intent. He's not dipping his toe in, he's preparing to dive headfirst into the world of endurance racing. This low-key test at the Nürburgring wasn't just a permit run, it might very well be the soft launch of his post-F1 career. A future that could include iconic events like Le Mans, Daytona, Spa, and yes, the Nürburgring 24 hours. With his unmatched pace, growing GT experience, and the freedom to pick and choose his battles, Max is setting the stage for a motorsport encore as thrilling as his F1 dominance. Because, let's face it, after conquering nearly every corner of the Formula One world, what's left to prove? The fire's still burning, but maybe it just needs a different kind of fuel. And for Verstappen, the next great adventure might not be about winning more titles. It could be about winning everywhere else. Max Verstappen isn't just dominating Formula One, he's quietly paving the way for life beyond it. His secret Nürburgring test under the alias Franz Hermann wasn't just a quirky stunt, it was a statement. Whether it's GT3, touring cars, or endurance racing, Verstappen is clearly eyeing fresh challenges on his own terms. This may have been a one-off, or it could be the start of a bold new chapter. One thing's certain, wherever Franz Hermann shows up next, Verstappen won't be far behind, still chasing speed, but in a whole new arena. Do you think Verstappen's secret Ferrari test is just about endurance racing, or could it be a hint that he's eyeing life after Red Bull? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.